AI coding tools have gotten remarkably good lately. For simple tasks, you can get surprisingly far with just one tool and a clear prompt. But for anything ambitious, larger features, multiple systems, real architectural decisions, I found there's a specific workflow that produces noticeably better results with far fewer corrections. So in this video, I'll cover both: when to keep things simple and the multi-tool process that I use when the tasks demand more. Let's start with the obvious question: do you actually need multiple tools? For many tasks, the answer is no. If you're building something well scoped, a single feature, a utility script, a component with clear requirements, you can get pretty far with just one tool. My personal favorite is Claude Code. Whether you use it in its native CLI format, through the Claude desktop app, which is getting a lot better, or within Visual Studio Code, it's become a genuinely capable all-round engineering tool. It's not just good for writing code, it handles debugging, deployment, and general terminal work pretty well overall. For a self-contained task, you can give Claude Code the requirements, let it plan, implement, and verify, all without leaving the tool. When you learn to use it to its full ability, the results are consistently impressive in my opinion. That said, Cursor is a strong alternative, particularly if you prefer a unified interface. It's a polished AI native editor, which is forked from VS Code, that lets you leverage multiple different models from a single environment. For people who want one tool that handles planning, implementation, and iteration without switching contexts, but gives you the flexibility to choose different models, then Cursor makes a lot of sense. It's a well-designed, all-in-one solution, and I understand why many people might prefer it. But here's where it gets interesting. If you're working on something more ambitious, like a larger feature, a complex refactor, something that touches multiple parts of a codebase, I found a multi-tool, multi-model workflow produces noticeably better results. The reason comes down to what you might call jagged intelligence. Each model optimizes for certain things more than others. One excels at planning, another at implementation, and another at catching subtle errors. They all have peaks and troughs. When you call a single model end-to-end, you're exposed to all of the weaknesses of that model. But when you layer several models together, each handling the phase it's best suited to, the troughs tend to smoothen out. You retain the peaks, the thing that each model does exceptionally well, while compensating for the gaps. The result is fewer bugs, fewer corrections, and far less of that kind of frustrating back and forth where you're essentially debugging the AI's work. So what does this workflow actually look like? It breaks down into 4 phases: plan, implement, review, and validate. I start the planning phase typically using GPT 5.2. The goal is to generate a detailed implementation plan before any code gets written. You describe what you want to build, thoroughly ideally with as much specificity as you can manage, and let the model produce a structured plan in Markdown. I typically save this as plan.md in the project directory. In terms of interface, you have some options. I often use the Visual Studio Code extension for Codex, or you can use Cursor if that's your editor of choice. And there's also the CLI if you prefer working in the terminal. The differences are subtle here, but depending on your workflow, you may feel one more natural than the other. For most tasks, medium to large features, refactors, additions to an existing codebase, GPT 5.2 in either high or extra high reasoning mode works very well. It's good at anticipating edge cases, suggesting sensible abstractions, and structuring work in a way that's pretty easy to follow, especially for an LLM. The reason why I lean towards GPT models in this case is they tend to be slightly better at research and also double checking its own solutions. This is why the kind of post-processing of GPT and OpenAI models tends to be slightly better and more thorough because it spends more time doing it, as well as more tokens. However, for anything that's architecturally heavy, like greenfield projects, systems you're designing from scratch, anything that requires a lot of upfront consideration, I'd actually lean towards GPT 5.2 Pro. It's quite a bit more expensive, but when you're really trying to get things right without the kind of back and forth, and the time savings are genuinely worth it in these kinds of projects. This model can spend half an hour or more generating its response. It's more nuanced, more far-reaching in what it considers, And for projects where that extra 10% in planning quality might save you significant time downstream, it's worth the investment. The trade-off is that Pro is only available through the ChatGPT interface, so you do lose a little bit of that workflow flexibility. Either way, the output isn't just a to-do list, it's a coherent implementation strategy that you'll hand off to the next phase. But before you do that, take the time to actually read the plan. Make sure it's solving the right problem, that it includes the specifics you care about, and that it's not just approaching things in a way that will cause issues later. This isn't a step to skip. Increasingly, this is the kind of work that software engineers will do more and more. The high-level synthesis gets handled by the AI, and your job is to verify that it's pointing in the right direction before the implementation begins. Once you're confident the plan is solid, you can trust the implementation phase will do what you expect, most of the time, with maybe a few little tweaks down the line. Next, I take the plan and pass it to Claude Code. I put Claude into plan mode first, which might sound counterintuitive, but it lets it ingest the markdown file and understand what needs to be built. This is where something useful happens. Claude will often come back with clarifying questions, implementation details where there are multiple valid approaches, or ambiguities in the requirements, trade-offs you might not have considered, and so on. This back and forth is valuable. It reduces the chance of misalignment before any code is written. Once these clarifications are handled, I switch Claude into autopilot mode and let it implement the plan, generally with minimal intervention. If you've been specific in your planning, if you've genuinely thought through what you want, Claude will often one-shot the entire implementation without any issues. It's rather impressive when it works, I find, and this is a real sign of what things are likely to be in the future of software engineering and AI in general. However, if your plan was vague or you hadn't fully thought through certain aspects, you could end up with gaps or subtle bugs. That's kind of expected at this point, and it might become less of a thing as the technology evolves, but for now it's something to keep in mind. Either way, that's where the next phase comes in. For code review, I currently use OpenAI's GPT 5.2 Codex. This is the tool I found most effective at spotting errors. Not just obvious bugs, but subtle logic issues, edge cases, and inconsistencies. I run a review pass asking Codex to identify problems in the implementation. It's generally quite good at this, I find. It catches things I would have even personally missed, and things Claude missed during the implementation. Once the issues are identified, I have Codex fix them directly. Why not use Claude for this? Well, two reasons. First, it's good to have a different model to evaluate a other model's implementation, and also Claude is excellent at implementation, but in my testing, Codex has a slight edge when it comes to its detailed critical review. It's more likely to spot the kinds of bugs that slip through and cause problems later. The tools have different strengths though, and this is where Codex shines. Finally, and to some extent this is optional, but I pass everything back to Claude Code for validation. Claude verifies that the changes work, runs any relevant tests, and helps with the final checks before any commit and deployment. This is where Claude's versatility as an all-round engineering tool really shows, because it's not just a coding agent. It handles debugging, local verification, deployment, and general terminal work. Codex, by contrast, operates primarily within a sandbox, which makes it excellent for coding and review, but less suited to local tasks and deployment. So how do you decide between the simple and advanced workflows? If the task is well scoped, self-contained, and you've got a pretty clear requirement in your head, a single tool like Cursor or Claude Code will serve you well. It's definitely best to not overcomplicate it when you don't have to. However, if the task is broader, touches multiple systems, or involves architectural decisions, the multi-tool workflow is worth the extra steps and investment. The extra and upfront time in planning and the dedicated review phase pay off in fewer corrections and cleaner results. The key insight is that these tools have different strengths. GPT 5.2 excels at reasoning and planning, Claude Code is a versatile implementation and engineering tool, and Codex is sharp at review and catching subtle issues. Using them together in the right sequence produces better outcomes than any single tool alone. By the way, I'm planning a follow-up video covering non-coding workflows, the best combination of tools for research, writing, and other knowledge work. If that's something you'd find useful, Stay tuned and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If there's other things that you like to do as part of your workflow and so on, I'd definitely be interested. Also, if you want to keep up to date with the latest AI developments, I have a free weekly AI newsletter which you can find in the description. And if you found this video useful, I'd really appreciate if you could like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.